Now, whenever you're ready. Go for it.
Right. So today we're doing pasta con broccoli, which means pasta and not cauliflower.
Broccoli. Broccoli.
Pasta and broccoli. So, cut the broccoli into bits, get all the florets out, like so.
That was a good start.
Yeah. There. And cut it into smaller pieces, because what this is going to do, it's a one pot dish and very simple and very, very yummy. So we do that. I've washed the broccoli, by the way. And another mistake people make is when they're cooking broccoli, they throw away this bit, which to me is the tastier part of it. When we were kids, we used to fight over who gets the centre bit, the stalk.
Who won?
Usually me. Because I...
Don't say it.
From about 10 years old, I was the only child.
Oh.
My sister got married and buggered off.
No, you can't say.
Very early in life. So, there we go. So I just cut that up in bits, and that's it. So, that's ready. So, while the pasta water is boiling, or getting ready to boil, we do the second stage of this. And what it is an egg per person, right? And there are many, many versions of pasta and broccoli. This is my version that I've made. They don't normally use egg, but I do. So, two eggs.
So why do you use egg?
Because it makes it creamier and the finished product is a lot nicer. Right? So that's that. So then, now this is going to be raw. I'm going to then put the hot pasta into the egg. So, grate 1 clove of garlic into the egg without putting any finger skin on it, like so. Then Parmesan cheese. Now most chefs will come out with a very large block of Parmesan.
Now,
this is...
For a skip,
Yes.
Parmesan is the same as Parmigiana. Parmigiano.
No,
That's different.
Parmigiana is something different.
Oh, okay.
Parmigiana is like eggplant and pasta in the thing.
Oh.
So, Parmigiano Reggiano, which is Parmigiano from Italy.
Oh, I got it all wrong.
So, as much Parmigiano as you like. I like lots. So, at this stage, you know, don't buy the supermarket Parmesan cheese, because it's like a bit of tasteless gravel. So, lots of Parmesan, like so. There we go. Now, the other thing is that you need is parsley. I'll come into my garden and I'll get some parsley. So you don't have to cut the parsley. I wash the parsley. You don't have to cut it too fine. And please use the stalks, because there's a lot of goodness in the stalks, and you know,
Waste not.
it's always good to use. So there you go. On top of the parmesan, like so. Keep that aside. Right. Maybe give it a bit of a miscolando, which means
Mix.
stir them up,
Oh,
make a nice yummy paste. Now you don't have to use salt in this.
for a
Maybe
change.
a bit of pepper. Bit of pepper. Give it a bit of a stir. And leave it aside. And basically, done. That's all you need. So, all we're doing now is putting the pasta on. Water's almost boiled, clean up the sink.
And you prefer dry pasta?
Well, you can do it with fresh pasta. Sometimes when I can be bothered I make my own pasta, but this pasta is a durum wheat pasta, which is better for your digestion. Straight wheat pasta, sometimes it can be a bit heavy to take. So the durum wheat pasta is a lot more digestible and I guess better for you. So there we go. So that's all we've done. The egg, parmesan, parsley. Cut up the broccoli into little florets, like so. And what I like to do is keep the small ones, because when the small ones break down, they make a better sauce when it's all put together. So there you go. So I think a handful for my director and I today. That should be enough.
Excuse me.
Now, one other thing that I need to say,
Only one.
only one for now. Antonio Carluccio always used to say the pasta water has to taste like seawater, right? If it doesn't, if it's not as salty as seawater, your pasta will come out like dishwater, right? So you've got to put a lot of salt in it. When there's a large pot of water, you have to put quite a lot of salt in it. Normally when I've got people over having dinner with me, I turn my back with them to put the salt in the water so they don't see how much salt I'm putting in, especially the director.
Yeah. Tony,
So, I like, see there's a difference between salts. There's the fine salt there and the cooking salt. This is more table salt. The cooking salt is a little bit more coarser. So if you're putting the coarser salt, which is saltier, then only put 1 heaped tablespoon in, and that's it. Sounds like a lot, but honestly, when you consider the volume of water, and you're not eating salty stuff, so this is table salt. So I'm going to put 1.5 tablespoons in the water. Water's almost done.
Is that your asparagus pot?
No. No, my asparagus pot, which I love dearly, and I only found it recently. It's ideal for pasta, and this is it. Right? It's ideal for pasta for 1 or 2, because you don't have to boil a big bucket of water.
And you can use less salt.
No, you don't use any less salt. Don't worry. Your arteries will be fine. And I've got to say too, I'm Italian, I love a lot of salt, I love a lot of olive oil. You know, my blood sugars are normal at the moment, but my salt levels were down. So, how do you work that out? And everybody thinks I eat too much salt, but that's another story.
Yep.
So, waiting for the water to boil. So, there you go.
Is that the same cutting board that had that big black thing on it?
It did. Well, it's the other side.
Oh.
You see?
Right.
My director said, why show
The cruddy old
thing with the burn mark on it?
Yeah.
Well, you know...
It's got a history.
It's got a history.
Yeah. An interesting history?
An interesting history. Well, it was probably you putting the hot coffee pot on it.
No.
My lovely wood boards. Anyway.
I thought you were going to say my lovely director. No.
There's nothing lovely about my director. I could tell you quite a few stories about my director, but I think
But you won't.
I on a different time slot.
Yeah. Well, we've only known we've known each other for 53 years.
Yes, which is funny because I'm only 38.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Anyhow, okay, the water's boiling. I'm going to chuck it in. Hang on. I better put some more in because my director is guts. There we go. So the durum wheat pasta takes a lot longer than normal pasta. And usually, when you read on the packet, it takes 8 minutes to cook. Now that's 8 minutes Italian, right? And a lot of Italians eat their pasta very much al dente, right? For Australians, don't like it terribly al dente.
Porridge.
Huh?
Porridge.
Well, like my director, he turns his pasta into porridge and then calls it spaghetti bolognese.
Why would a skip serve Italians pasta? What was I thinking?
Well, considering my director used to have spaghetti in a can.
Oh, that was at school. Spaghetti sandwiches at school.
Yuck. Right.
Whenever you're ready.
Go. So, broccoli's cut, the egg, parmesan.
Show us the egg. Show us the egg.
Huh?
Tip it over. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, so it's quite thick. Quite thick.
Okay, very thick.
Yep.
But it won't be thick for long.
Yeah.
So the pasta has cooked almost halfway there. Right? At this stage, throw the fillets of broccoli in, and that's it. Now there's no need to put salt in anything now because there's the Parmesan cheese, it's a little bit salty, and then I'm going to use a cup of pasta water because that'll thicken it up and make the egg nice and creamy and delicious. So plate out. So there we are. All we need now is to get the pasta happening.
And Tony, show us that wonderful prong, that forky thing. Every kitchen should have one.
This, I've owned this for about 40 years, but I've only started using it in the last 5. Ask me why?
Why?
Not a clue. It's just that it was there, and I thought one day, well, that'll be easier to...
What's it supposed to be for?
Well, you know, it's probably used for, you know...
Meat
to hold it while you're cutting it. But a lot of chefs today use it for pasta. Because it's easier to put it in, twirl it around, and do one small serve of pasta, which is great.
Okay.
But I pretty much use it these days for everything. So, mescolando. So when the broccoli is almost falling apart and cooked, nearly there.
But you can overcook it, can't you?
Huh?
You can overcook it.
Well, you know, the only time that I like overcooked vegetables would probably be in this recipe, because the actual flavour, when the broccoli breaks down, it makes for a better sauce.
Oh, so it doesn't matter if it's all mushy?
The broccoli, no.
Oh, okay.
But I like to have, what I do is I break some up finely and leave some chunks. So
it cooks different times.
It cooks at different times and yeah.
Yep.
So you'll see what I mean when I put it in. Now, some people, like my director,
here we go.
would lesson from his mother how when pasta
no, well,
cooked.
that's how we skips used to do it.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
You just take a bit out and taste it.
Yeah. So what did I used to do?
Okay.
What did I used to do?
You used to fling it on the thing, and if it's stuck, it's cooked.
Exactly.
So if you fling it on the tile and it sticks, it must be ready for the porridge.
I'm sure that it was in the Woman's Weekly.
Well, that's 100 years ago.
Almost.
Okay, this is almost ready. So we shall...
Have you actually even looked at a clock, or you just know?
You just know. You know, pasta cooks at different rates.
It's got a mind of its own.
Thicknesses of pasta, different types of pasta. It all cooks at different types. You know, I never ever listen to the time that it says on the packet, ever. You know, you can tell by the colour of the pasta when it's cooked. You can tell by tasting it, and usually better taste it. And if it was fresh pasta, it would only take half the time. So because it's hard pasta, it, you know, takes a little longer.
Yep.
And especially durum wheat pastas take a little longer than normal wheat pasta. Okay. One more try. A little bit longer. So now, that's been on the stove now for about 10 minutes, right? Still not done. And that's why I say try it. So going back to the salt content, if I, like some chefs and home cooks, get a little bit of salt and sprinkle it on the water, you know what that does? Nothing. Doesn't do a damn thing to the water or the food you're cooking. You know, I get so infuriated when I see them do that.
That's
So
why
don't do it. Use salt.
That's why you never come and eat with me.
Well, you know, you're a different kettle of fish.
Yeah.
After 53 years, I'm used to your antics. Just as well we don't share the same house. That's going to have to do. And remember, you always take the pasta out just a little bit before it's ready.
Yeah.
Because it keeps cooking. Okay, so now I'm going to take a cup of water, pasta water, out of there, and this is my Gas and Fuel Corporation cup, which I found in one of the paddocks of my farm 20 years ago. And the Gas and Fuel Corporation closed down about 40 years ago.
Longo.
So it's a very old cup. But mind you, I cleaned it thoroughly when I brought it in the house. So, 1 cup of pasta water. So now I'm going to pour it in the colander. Like so. Then I'm going to pop that straight on top of my egg mixture.
Okay.
So, now what you'll find is that, oh, there's one there.
Yep.
The pasta will keep absorbing the egg and the moisture that you've just put it in, right? And so, if you leave it like that, within a couple of minutes, it'll go dry. So when you serve it up, you're just serving up a mush. So the more you stir it, the creamier it gets. And see what I mean about the little bits and the bigger bits? That's what makes the sauce. So, there. Bit of the pasta water. And there. And just keep, the more you mix it, the creamier it becomes, because the broccoli breaks down and you're making the sauce out of the thing. So it still needs a full cup, well, nearly a full cup. Miscolando, miscolando. And there you go. Now, for the last flourish, I'm going to go out in the garden and get some more parsley. This time my back garden. You only need a bit. Gonna keep stirring it. There we go. Now,
that fork is good.
it is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some sauce. And now a bit of washing. I watered this morning so everything's nice. So a little bit more parsley on the top. Another sprinkling of Parmigiano. And that, my friends, is that. Now, one more thing. The pasta was about $5 for a packet, which I only used half of. The broccoli was $2.20 a kilo, which I only used a third of that. The 2 eggs for 2 people, that was maybe $1.20. So this whole dish...
Did you say the cheese?
Oh, and the Parmesan cheese, of course. But I buy a big block of Parmesan cheese and cut it into blocks and just use it. So I've probably used 50 cents worth.
And that keeps forever?
And that is it,
Yeah.
my friends. And that, I guarantee you, is absolutely delicious.
Yum. Well, we'll be able to tell very soon.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Cut.